Let's just dive right in. I want you to picture something. You are standing right in the middle of a bustling Moroccan market, a souk. The air is just filled with the smell of spices. You've got these incredible pyramids of fresh vegetables all around you, and you can hear the amazing buzz of shoppers and vendors. It's a lot to take in, right?
So you spot these perfect-looking vegetables, and it hits you. How do I even ask for that? Well, that's exactly why we're here. This is going to be your quick and easy guide to navigating that market with your very first words of Moroccan Darija. So, first up, welcome to the market. Before we even start shopping, I'm going to let you in on a little trick that makes your first word surprisingly easy to remember. Which brings us to section 2, a hint of French. You see, because of Morocco's history, some Darija words have roots you might actually recognize. It's a really helpful shortcut.
In fact, your very first word of Darija might be one you kinda already know. It's hiding in plain sight. You ready for this?
And there it is. For cauliflower, you're going to hear chou-fleur. It comes straight from the French chou-fleur, which is a holdover from the French protectorate era. This little piece of history makes your first word a total breeze. See? You're already doing it. All right, section 3, sounds and symbols. Now, it's not just French that influences how Darija sounds. What's really fascinating is how the language plays with its own Arabic roots, especially when it comes to what's written versus what's actually said out loud.
So our next stop is garlic, and this one has a fantastic little secret. It's the perfect example of why listening is just as important as reading when you're picking up Darija.
So take a look at the Arabic script here. In formal, classical Arabic, that first letter makes a th sound. But in everyday spoken Darija, nah, it almost always softens to a simple T sound. So the big takeaway here is, you might see it written one way, but in the market, you're going to ask for tuma. But Darija doesn't just simplify sounds, it actually innovates. To deal with sounds from other languages that don't even exist in standard Arabic, Darija went ahead and created its own special characters. And here it is. Meet the gaf. Standard Arabic doesn't really have a hard g sound, like in go or great. So what did Darija do? It took the letter kaf, which makes a k sound, and just added 2 extra dots on top. This new letter lets you write words like manga for mango. It's such a brilliant and practical solution. Okay, section 4, how to ask like a local. All right, this is the really practical part. You've learned some words, so now let's learn the system. How do you string them together to say exactly what you mean? Trust me, it's easier than you think.
You know, one of the coolest and most efficient things about Darija is how it uses modifiers. Instead of having totally different words for similar things, you often just start with a base word and add a simple description, like a color.
Let me show you. The general word for a squash or a gourd is gerahea. Now, if you want zucchini, you just specify green gourd, gerahea khadra. And if you want pumpkin, you ask for a red gourd, gerahea hamra. How cool is that? One word is the key to 2 different vegetables. It's such an elegant and logical system.
And this isn't just a one-off trick. It's a really common pattern you're going to see over and over again. Let's take sweet potatoes, for instance. The logic is just as clear and simple. Okay, so the word for potato is batata. The word for sweet is sabaloa. Now, you're probably looking at that number 7 and wondering, what's that all about? Well, in text chat Darija, numbers are often used for Arabic sounds that don't have an English letter. The 7 stands for a hard H sound that comes from the back of your throat. So batata sabaloa is literally just sweet potato. Once you see that pattern, you can start to figure other things out too. All right, one final pro tip before we wrap up our list. This one's a little more subtle, but it's super important for being understood correctly. It's all about the difference between asking for one of something versus asking for that item in general. Let's use onions as our example. So check this out. If you point and ask for besla, you'll probably get exactly 1 onion. But if you want to buy a kilo or a whole bunch of them, you'd ask for basal. It's a tiny change in the word, but it makes a huge difference in how many you get. Just think of basal as the general word for onions. And here we are, section 5, your Darija shopping list. Just like that, our virtual shopping trip is done. We've covered French influences, pronunciation secrets, and the super smart logic of using modifiers. So let's put it all together. Here it is, your official souk cheat sheet. Cauliflower is chou-fleur, garlic, tuma, mango, manga,
For zucchini, jereh khadra. For pumpkin, jereh khamra. Sweet potato is batata hilwa. And if you want a bunch of onions, it's bsal. 7 words for 7 amazing things. You are officially ready to hit that market.
You know, at the end of the day, you've got more than just a list of words now. You have a key that unlocks smiles, it unlocks conversations, and it unlocks a much deeper connection to the culture. So I'll leave you with this question. With this key now in your hand, what's the very first thing you're going to ask for at the souk?